Guys, welcome back to the channel. You're back with the Midwest Express. Today we are talking about DoorDash customer complaint. So I had seen this post on social media this morning. It says, "This note was attached to my order. It was a $15 and 2 miles from my house. I tipped a $5.55, 37%. I always tip over 20% and had many tip-based jobs, including being a DoorDash driver in college. If you don't think it's enough, decline the order and go find another job." So everybody that's doing DoorDash or any kind of gig work right now knows that things have changed in the last few months. In the last 6 months, drastically. In the last few months, even more dubious. The apps are always constantly changing and updating to keep lowering that bar, that limbo bar, to see how low will drivers go and keep taking these orders. So I thought this was an interesting post because of this note that she claimed was attached to her order. And it's called Tipping the Delivery Drivers. And it goes through everything with gig work and what's going on with us and so on. And near the bottom, it says, hopefully next time you'll tip more, or, at least now you're aware of the delivery driver's job and what it's all about. And it's from the Delivery Drivers Association. So it's almost like a unionization this person is saying that they're from, and they put it in English and Spanish. And they attach this to a customer's order. And I was thinking, if I was a customer, I don't know how I would take some of these notes that are being attached. And I want to go over another one. Now, this was attached to a McDonald's order. And it says, and I'll tell you what, I put stickers on delivery bags when I first started driving almost 2 years ago now. And what I would do is it'd say, "Your goodies are inside. Please remember to rate your driver 5.0." That was it. That was all I ever asked for. I never talked about tips. I never said, "Hey, I'm not making enough," or "Be advised of all this information." But this post here has the little 5 stars across the top, and it says, "Breaking news. Drivers are independent contractors. We receive no benefits or hourly pay. In order to continue providing service to you, we rely on tips to pay for our expenses such as fuel and car maintenance. I am also accepting donations to put toward a treat bags that I enjoy to give out to each order." So this person is saying, "Hey, I want to give you little treat bags, but I need additional money to do this." And then they continue on. They said, "Forgot to tip, ? Or would like to increase your tip, ? Scan a code below to access my virtual tip jar." So they are trying to get tips off book. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that drivers are asking for tips. And I understand you want to educate the customer, but sometimes customers already tipped you and you didn't know it was a tip, like the first delivery that I showed you, where it was a 37% tip. And that still wasn't enough. They still clicked their little sign on it. So they're not being tactful about it. They're not giving it to a low-paying orders, or at least if they're doing it, they think because Grubhub or DoorDash is hiding the tips. Grubhub doesn't hide tips, but DoorDash is hiding the tips, that I'm just going to put this on every order so in case it's not being hidden, they'll know. So I think there's got to be a better way to notify the consumer. And I think, honestly, the consumer knows. If you watch a lot of TikToks right now, there are people that are complaining about these notes, complaining about drivers that say, no tip, no trip. They're like, well, get a better paid job, and it's funny that when the pandemic was going on, we were essential employees. They needed us to get this food, to get those groceries, to get everything out to these customers. And I think after the pandemic's wrapped up now, people are like looking at their own lives and going, okay, I make $20 an hour and I have to get something to eat for lunch. So I'm going to order Noodles and Company to have it delivered or whatever. So they're ordering food, they're making $20 an hour. And they're like, okay, this is kind of a treat for myself to go get a meal outside. I didn't pack a lunch or whatever. And they're not tipping. And if they look at YouTubers' channels or they've done gig work themselves, they look at it and they say, these guys are making $25, $30 an hour sometimes. Now, it all depends on your market and your hustle and how you know how to work the apps and everything. But I average over 20 something dollars an hour. So if somebody was making 15, I imagine they look at it and they say, this is booty. Why are these guys making so much money just delivering the food? My job's far harder. They don't deserve so much. So the society is kind of this tug of war back and forth, How much do you deserve? You didn't go to college. You don't have a degree. Why do you deserve to make so much money? Because it's a hustle. And a lot of people have learned that being in gig work can be a hustle. But the times are changing and it's getting harder and the orders are drying up and the tips are drying up. So with this new voting or the new policies that the Biden administration is proposing, I don't know where gig work's going. I think it's interesting to see how it goes every day, but I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? You guys let me know. Comment below. I think that everybody has to do what's in your best interest. And gig work is a hard hustle nowadays. And if you're going to try to do this as a full-time gig, be forewarned, there's lots of days to embrace the suck. Just this morning, I started out my day. I took a crappy order because I always like to get the first one out. And I feel like it can only get better after that. So I took a crappy order. It was $4.50 going from the Meltdown or the Burger Den to the airport. I'm like, the airport? Well, it's probably not the airport itself. No, it was the airport. They wanted me to park at the airport and then bring the food delivery into the United service counter. I was like, you want me to deliver to the counter inside the airport? They're like, yes. And I'm like, it's a $4.50 tip. I'm like, or $4.50 fare or job. I'm like, I said, okay, where should I park? Because I'm like, I know where to park. I'm an Uber driver. I do Lyft. But I just wanted to point out to them that, hey, not everybody's like all savvy about bringing stuff into the airport, And they're like, well, I can come out and meet you outside. And I'm like, okay. I was like, does the airport still have a whole bunch of construction going on? Which I know they do. And the customer's like, yes, that's why I'm going to come outside and meet you. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. Like, okay. And they're probably going to knock me down on my raise just because I gave them shit. But oh well, I don't care. But that's the situation I'm in. Everybody has a different vibe and a different way of doing these gig apps and your hustle and your struggle. And, that was the first order. The second order was from a convenience store to pick up some groceries, some bananas, eggs, and milk. I get there. It's all on the rack to be delivered. I grab it. I asked the lady, I was like, is everything in here? She said, yes. I went out to the vehicle. Something said, look at the order. So I look over the order. They forgot the eggs. So I had to go back in and get the eggs. And the lady's like, oh, she kind of laughed about it. Oh, I guess we didn't. I'm like, yeah, some people got fired last week for not having everything in the order because the customer complained that they stole the items. And then she got a really serious look on her face. I'm like, yeah, it's really important that everything's in the order when you say it's in the order. And I'm like, thank you. And I just kind of went about my day, you know. But hope you guys have a good day. I have a Grubhub block scheduled for this evening. A whole bunch of Grubhub all weekend. Plus, going to do some DoorDash. I looked at some Shipt shops this morning, which one was decent, but I was too slow. I didn't get to it. So, but the hustle continues. Hope you guys are liking this content. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll hit you on the next one.